Hi guys, hopefully all of you are doing well. Today we're going to be making some beautifully smoked crab legs with lots of drawn seasoned butter. I'm going to be giving you lots of ideas and techniques so you can achieve these recipes. I cannot begin to tell you how delicious these crab legs are. Trust me, this method is too easy to pass up. Come on, let's get started. All right, so we're going to take a medium-sized pot and a pound of butter so we can get started on our drawn butter, or what may be called clarified butter. If you hear those terms, we're talking about the same thing. We're going to put the setting on the stove to low as it can go. And when I mean low, I mean low. Do not blast this butter, just let it sit there and slowly melt. We'll come back to it in a minute. All right, so and then I'm going to move on to my corn. These are just some things that I opted to throw on the grill in addition to the crab legs. I'm going to take some corn. You can use any method you want with the corn. It really wasn't a big deal to me, but I knew I was going to leave the husk on. So what I'm doing is I'm going to peel the husk back and remove that silk that's inside. Okay, and I don't do this at the store. I see a lot of people doing this at the store. We learned in a cooking class that doing this at the store, the teacher in the class said that you can release the sugars too soon. You want the best product possible, so I just do it at home. It's not really a big deal, and I'm just putting that in the trash bag. Gonna clean that off, give the corn a good rinse after this, and then I'm just gonna soak them in some water. You need to actually soak the corn in some water for about a couple of hours so that that husk can really get limp. But I didn't have that kind of time, so I just kind of cheated a little. But I knew I was going to smoke them for sure. All right, now we're going to move on to our clarified butter. And this recipe is going to be very important to you because the whole video kind of hinges upon this seasoned butter. Once you allow that butter just to slowly melt, what happens is the milk solids will come to the top. That's what's very important to get your clarified butter. You're going to take a spoon. I'm using a ladle here. You want to be very careful just to skim and get the milk solids from the top. All right. Now, there are going to be some that go to the bottom also, but right now we're just interested in the ones at the top because we want that beautifully clarified butter. It is so gorgeous. I'm just telling you. You need this recipe. If you're going to have a crowd or you're going to be doing lots of seafood, and as a matter of fact, I'm using this butter on all of the food, you will need to do quite a few pounds. I actually went back and did another pound. So you might need 4, 5, 6 pounds of clarified butter if you're going to be doing large amounts of seafood. What I did next was to pour the butter into a mason jar so that you guys could see exactly how beautiful it is, and some milk solids are still going to be in there, but this time they're going to go to the bottom. You'll be able to see them or recognize them. I'm just going to leave that butter there, and then the milk solids will start to go to the bottom. You can see them at this angle starting to collect. Just go ahead and find something else to do, and trust me, you have plenty to do while that separates some more, and then you'll be able to pour it out into a bowl, trying your best to leave the milk solids at the bottom behind. But this, I think with this butter, most of mine came to the top because there was very little left. All right, so I had a good product to work with. Now I'm going to take my couple of pounds of red skin potatoes, which are about the same size, and I'm going to split them in half. And the reason why I wanted them around the same size is because I want them to grill and be done at the same time. Next, I put the potatoes in some cold water. Always start boiling potatoes with cold water. And I put them on the stove. I'm going to turn the heat up to high and let them come to a boil. I'm going to let them boil just until I can put a fork in the center but still have some resistance. I don't want them fully cooked, just par cooked. Par meaning partially cooked. Okay, so I moved on to seasoning up my clarified butter. That was some smoked paprika. That was Grand Diamond's lemon pepper. I also went in with some granulated garlic. I mean, lots of granulated garlic. So good. Then I moved on to Grand Diamond All-Purpose Seasoning, a good couple of tablespoons. You could check this recipe out along with this seasoning at gdseasoning.com. The link will be below and in the comments. I also went in with some liquid crab oil. Do not leave that out. You must. It's going to add a flavor bump that you will not be able to imagine. So don't leave that out, all right? Lastly, I went in with the juice of 1 lemon and some dried parsley flakes, or you can use some dried basil leaves. Now, of course, as you're looking at this, yes, I'm going to give you a recipe, but this is going to be also to your taste. You'll probably look at my measurements and say, oh, I want a little bit more of this, or I want a little bit more of that. Go ahead and do that. Absolutely. And you can taste this as you go with a clean spoon, of course. Don't be double dipping. What I do want to warn you about is to make sure that you don't over salt the butter, because you'll probably be using salted butter and you're going to be adding items that have salt. So just be aware of the salt content of the seasonings that you're using, whether it's mine or anybody else's, because if you take it too far, the only way to pull it back is to melt some more butter. Just also as a reminder, the seasonings, not all of them dissolve. So when you're stirring, make sure you stir from the bottom so you get all that goodness on all of your food. I'm just going to take my corn on the cob and give it a brush. And then I'm going to close the husk back over the corn on the cob, and it's going to go on the grill straight like that. That works for me. If you like another method, go ahead and use it. Now it's time to move on to our snow crab legs. When I went to my butcher, he had 2 sizes of snow crab legs, and I usually don't mess with snow crab because they can tend to be a little narrow and too small, but these were exceptionally large, so I went on and bought these. Gorgeous, and these are fully cooked. When you go buy your crab legs, be aware of what you are buying, whether they are fully cooked, par cooked, or raw. They should be labeled as such. That way you'll know what you're dealing with. And that way you know how to handle them around your other foods also. Remember how to handle raw meats. They're handled different when you have other food in the kitchen. So be aware of that. Read the labels. I just took some of my clarified butter and separated it into a smaller bowl, and I started to brush the crab legs with it. This is going to get the cooking process started. We're going to baste these every 10 minutes while they're on the grill. The last thing I'm going to finish prepping is my parboiled potatoes. Remember, partially boiled potatoes. They're only half cooked. I'm just going to give those a drain, and then I'm going to put them in a bowl and toss them with some of that delicious butter. Parboiling the potatoes started the cooking process. Now, when we cook them on the grill, they're going to be done around the same period of time as the other food. If you skip the parboiling process, then they're going to have to stay on there much longer for the potato to finish grilling. So that's the easiest technique that I can get you so you can get some great potatoes with your crab. I put the potatoes down on the smoker, cut side down, and then I moved on to putting my crab legs on there. I underestimated a little bit of how much space I needed for these long snow crab legs. I just ended up moving everything over a little bit, but just placed them on there. I was working with 6 clusters there. I bought a whole case of crab legs, so I'm going to be doing this again. I don't know about boiling anymore. Smoking is the way to go, trust me. So then I also placed my corn on the other side, and then I almost forgot my chicken sausage. So you're going to see some chicken sausage added to the back of the smoker on the other side. This is after the first 10 minutes of smoking. I'm basting just like I said I would. Reminder, I am using an electric smoker that has a blend of wood pellets that is going through the smoker. The technique to do this on a regular barbecue pit is almost the same, and I'm going to show you that, and I already have a video up called Slow Smoke Barbecue Ribs, but the technique for smoking is the same. You're going to get your charcoal going. You're going to get it nice and hot, and then you're going to let those coals turn white, and then you're going to throw on your favorite wood. For the crab legs, I maintained a temperature of about 280. Of course, I was doing ribs in this video, and 225 to 250 was what I was smoking on. But I just showed you this to let you know that the technique is still the same. Maintain that temperature and maintain that smoke. At this point, the crab legs have been on for about 15 minutes, and I decided to go ahead and turn them over and baste them again on the other side, just keeping everything nice and even. What I also learned during this process, that the smoking or putting crab legs on the grill gives the shell a snap, especially when they come right off. Let me make a suggestion. Do all of your other items first. Do your potatoes, do your corn, do all that other stuff first. Put your crab legs on last and let them cook. Keep everything else warm while you're doing your crab legs, because as soon as they come off, you want to serve them. They have a wonderful snap to them. There's my chicken sausage that I was telling you guys about. That's getting nice and hot and about to pop. The crab legs came off. Look at that snap and how the meat just comes right out of the shell. So that's why I made the suggestion to go ahead and do all of your other things first. Do your crab legs last. And then they have this wonderful snap. I was able to just kind of snap and then squeeze the sides to let that meat come right out. I'm telling you, dip it in your butter, give everybody their own little serving of butter, and just let them go for what they know. I'm telling you, this is one of the most delicious meals I've had at home in a long time. My sister and my mother enjoyed it too. Look, it even makes it very easy to access the ends of the crab legs. You can get to that meat and eat it too, so you don't have to let that go to waste. I hope you guys really enjoy this recipe. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. You know I appreciate it when you come cook with me and hang out. Don't forget, this recipe and others can be found at gdseasoning.com. And I'll see you all next time.